Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about a figure many of us have seen, some of us have been, and all of us should strive to understand the woman who walks alone. The woman who, no matter the weight of the world, no matter the odds, chooses her path and follows it fiercely, unapologetically, and on her own terms. Now, let's be clear. The path of a woman who walks alone isn't smooth. It's filled with rough terrain, uncertain weather, and sometimes pure darkness. But there's something unique about this journey because walking alone, she learns the power of self-reliance. She learns that when there's no one else around to lean on, she becomes her own rock, her own light, and her own voice of strength. This isn't about isolation, it's about discovering what's inside when the world is quiet and all the noise fades away. Let me tell you something about this woman. She knows what she wants, and she's willing to face fear head-on. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of standing out, of stepping away from the crowd. But here's the thing about fear, it's only powerful when you don't face it. This woman who walks alone, she sees fear, she feels it, and then she walks through it. She doesn't stop for it, doesn't negotiate with it. She moves forward because she understands that what's on the other side of fear is freedom. And freedom, my friends, is priceless. There is a powerful transformation that happens when someone learns to walk alone. It's not about loneliness, it's about building an inner foundation, solid and unwavering, that doesn't need constant validation, agreement, or support from others. There's a type of strength that only develops in solitude. Think about it when you're surrounded by people. There's a natural tendency to lean on them, to reach out when things get tough, and to let their energy boost you up. And while that support is beautiful, there's a different kind of power that comes when you have to find that strength within yourself. When a woman decides to walk alone, she taps into something deeper, something most people don't even realize they have inside. It's like training a muscle. The first time you lift, it's hard, your strength is untested, maybe even shaky. But over time, as you keep lifting, as you keep pushing, that muscle grows. Solitude is like that for the spirit. Without the noise and opinions of others, she is forced to confront her inner voice, to distinguish between the fears and doubts that may have been imposed on her and the truths that come from her own intuition. This clarity doesn't come easy, but it's essential. Solitude gives her the time and space to understand her true priorities, what she actually wants out of life, not what society tells her to want, not what her friends or family believe she should want, but what genuinely resonates with her heart and soul. She learns to define her own standards, set her own goals, and create her own path. When you're walking alone, there's no one else to tell you when you're going in the wrong direction. There's only your inner compass, and so you learn to trust it. This trust becomes a bedrock of strength because it isn't dependent on anyone else's approval. Solitude also teaches self-reliance. There's an undeniable empowerment that comes from knowing you can handle things on your own. She learns that if she falls, she has the resilience to pick herself back up. She discovers that she can make decisions, big and small, without the safety net of other people's opinions. Every step she takes alone reinforces her confidence, proving to herself again and again that she is capable. This self-reliance means that when challenges arise, and they inevitably do, she faces them head-on, not running for backup or waiting for someone else to take charge. This journey alone also strips away superficial layers, revealing what truly matters. Without external voices drowning out her thoughts, she begins to see herself more clearly. She recognizes both her strengths and her weaknesses, and in doing so, gains a truer understanding of who she is. She's not relying on the world to tell her she's strong or talented or capable. She's learning these things directly through her own experiences. Walking alone is a kind of baptism by fire, but it's one that reveals the gold within. Walking alone doesn't just build resilience, it creates an internal source of power. She doesn't need to constantly seek validation or reassurance because she knows her worth. Her confidence isn't fragile, reliant on others to hold it up. She knows that she is strong, that she has faced her fears, her doubts, and her darkest days and come through them alone. This knowledge is a strength that no one can take away, no matter the external circumstances. It's a kind of armor, built not from arrogance or pride, but from an unshakable understanding of her own ability to handle whatever life throws her way. Fear is a powerful force. It's the one thing that can keep a person frozen, unable to take that next step. It whispers doubts, reminds her of the risks, highlights every possible setback. It's the voice that says, stay where you are, it's safer here. But the woman who walks alone doesn't let fear dictate her path. She understands that fear is a part of the journey, not a sign to turn back. For her, fear is a test, a challenge to be faced and overcome, not a barrier that keeps her from moving forward. This perspective doesn't make fear disappear, but it transforms the relationship she has with it. She doesn't expect a life without fear instead. She expects a life where fear is met with courage and where that courage grows with every encounter. When a woman chooses to walk alone, fear isn't something she avoids, it's something she acknowledges, confronts, and ultimately learns to walk through. She knows fear doesn't mean she's weak, it means she's alive. It means she's challenging herself, stepping into places she's never been before. She uses fear as a guide, recognizing that if something scares her, it's likely an area where she has the most to gain, the most room to grow. Rather than seeing it as a stop sign, she begins to see it as a signal that she's on the edge of a breakthrough, on the verge of uncovering something essential within herself. Walking through fear changes a person. It strips away illusions and excuses. It forces her to face herself in her rawest, most vulnerable state. But this is where true strength is found. She realizes that fear doesn't define her, how she responds to it does. Every time she pushes past that inner voice of doubt, she adds a layer of resilience, a layer of confidence that no one can take away. This is a kind of courage that only comes from facing what scares you again and again until it no longer has the power to hold you back. There's a freedom in this that most people never experience. The freedom to look at fear and choose action anyway, to know that fear is present but not paralyzing. She discovers that the power she gains from walking through fear is far greater than the power fear ever had over her. She becomes her own ally, her own motivator, realizing that every time she moves forward despite her fears, she is redefining what's possible for herself. This freedom changes her. It allows her to dream bigger, to take bolder steps, and to reach for goals that once seemed impossible. This approach to fear doesn't mean she's reckless or unafraid. It means she's willing to move forward, even when she's unsure of the outcome. She's willing to risk failure, to risk judgment, and even to risk pain because she understands that what she gains on the other side is worth it. She doesn't waste energy running from fear or avoiding it. Instead, she harnesses it. Fear becomes fuel, a source of energy that propels her forward, reminding her that she is alive, that she is doing something meaningful, something that matters. Through this process, she comes to understand that fear is never the real enemy stagnation is. She realizes that a life spent avoiding fear is a life spent avoiding growth, avoiding experiences, avoiding the incredible potential that lies within her. Walking alone through fear teaches her that her strength, her courage, and her resilience are far greater than any fear she could face. She becomes someone who not only feels fear but embraces it, someone who understands that fear is the price of progress, the entry fee to a life that's truly her own. Each time she confronts her fears, she expands her comfort zone, creating new possibilities for herself and her future. Fear no longer limits her. Instead, it drives her to discover her fullest potential. And in doing so, she becomes an example, a beacon to others who may be afraid to step out on their own path. She doesn't just talk about courage, she lives it, demonstrating that the only way to truly live is to face fear head on and come out stronger on the other side. When a woman chooses to be a trailblazer, she isn't doing it for the applause or the recognition. She does it because there's a fire inside her, a drive to create her own path, regardless of what others think. She knows the journey won't be easy, that there will be voices along the way questioning her, doubting her, telling her she can't make it. But she moves forward anyway, not because she's seeking validation, but because she's driven by something more profound or purpose. She knows her path won't always be understood, and she's okay with that. She knows that trailblazing means walking into the unknown, and she's prepared to handle the risks that come with it. Her purpose is what keeps her going when the obstacles appear, when the doubts arise, and when others don't believe in her vision. There's a unique strength in knowing that you're moving forward on your own terms, that you're carving out a place for yourself in a world that may not always welcome it. This strength isn't something she was necessarily born with. It's something she develops through every step she takes on her journey. The road less traveled isn't easy, but it's where she finds herself. She finds her courage, her determination, and a fierce independence that can't be shaken by others' opinions or doubts. The truth is, trailblazing isn't about breaking rules for the sake of breaking them. It's about breaking rules that don't align with her values, her vision, and her authenticity. She chooses to rewrite the script because the script given to her doesn't fit. This woman isn't afraid to be the first or the only one doing what she's doing. She knows that by being true to herself, by setting her own standards and priorities, she's creating a path not only for herself, but for others who may want to follow. She doesn't have to shout her intentions or seek approval. Her actions speak louder than words. Her persistence, her resilience, and her commitment to her purpose inspire others who may be watching, others who are on the edge of taking their own leap but are waiting for someone else to go first. She becomes that someone, the one who shows that it's possible, that it's worth it, that you don't have to follow the crowd to find success or fulfillment. As a trailblazer, she knows that there will be moments of loneliness, times when it feels like no one understands her vision, but she doesn't let that stop her because her purpose is bigger than her fears. She's not just focused on where she's going, she's focused on why she's going there. Every step she takes is a testament to her dedication to something greater than herself. She's building a legacy, creating a path that will remain long after she's gone. Her journey is a statement, a reminder to others that they too can choose their path. They too can define success on their own terms. Being a trailblazer doesn't mean she has all the answers. It means she's willing to find them. It means she's willing to ask the tough questions, to take the harder route, and to push forward even when the path isn't clear. She's not afraid to learn as she goes, to make mistakes, and to grow from them. She understands that trailblazing isn't about perfection, it's about progress, about moving forward even when the journey is uncertain. She's building her confidence and her resilience every step of the way, learning to trust herself and her instincts even when the world around her is skeptical. Through her actions, she is redefining what's possible, not just for herself, but for everyone who sees her courage and feels inspired to take their own leap. She knows that by pursuing her own dreams, she's making it easier for others to pursue theirs. She's creating space for new possibilities, new ideas, and new voices. Her journey reminds others that success